All right, and hey everybody, welcome to Crown Council Live. This is our weekly show where we connect with our community, what's happening around the Crown Council, and share with you the best stories and the best happenings that are going on inside our membership. And we are joined already live from I actually don't even know where you guys are. You guys in Dallas?
Atlanta.
Oh, in
Yeah,
Atlanta. That's right.
we're in Atlanta, Georgia.
Very cool. So Steve and Chris, will you introduce your guest and where you are today? Yeah.
So we're in Atlanta, Georgia, doing TOPS Total Immersion today and tomorrow. And Dr. Ashish Patel is here with a big portion of his team, along with other dentists from all over Georgia, North Carolina, dentists in the area. We're having a blast here, right? We're having a
Absolutely.
blast.
Absolutely.
Good answer. Good answer.
So I thought it would just be helpful, informative. I just had lunch with Dr. Patel and all the doctors that are here. I wish I'd had the whole lunch recorded. It was great stuff. But one of the things I wanted Dr. Patel to share in the whole spirit of what we do in the Crown Council, which is creating a culture of success, is why you invest in your team. You made a big commitment to be here.
Absolutely. And every time I've done an event with you guys, it comes back fivefold. And I can honestly say that bringing 15 people to an event like this, they all come back so energized. The office runs smoother. Even when Chris comes to our office, the next 2 weeks are the best weeks that we have. It's just contagion. You get around a bunch of doctors that all think alike, and then the wonderful lectures that you guys are putting on, we take away so many pearls, and everyone just gets fired up, and it's just a lot of fun.
Very cool. And that is a big part of the process. One of the other things you shared at lunch, what we talked about frame change, but one of the things you shared with the other doctors was the shift from focusing on treatment to focusing on the patient. Can you repeat that?
Yeah.
There's a big shift. I think this is kind of the hallmark of what we do.
I think it's one of the key things that changed my frame. As dentists, we just want to fix the problem, and we don't really always dive deep into the patient relationship. And that's been the biggest thing. Our practice is 100% relationship driven. I want to get to know that patient, know what matters to them the most, and then deliver exactly what they want. So you get a high case acceptance when you giving patients exactly what they want.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the relationship part of TOPS just resonates with my office. And everyone that works in my office feels the exact same way. I love it when my assistants are forming relationships with the patients. I love it when my hygienists are forming relationships with the patients. And I love it when my front desk is forming relationships with the patients. Longevity and patient retention, 100% patient relationship driven. And for me, keeping patients is much easier than patient acquisition. And I think TOPS has helped me see the value in really working hard to keep all of our patients in our practice.
Very good. Well put. Thank you for that.
Can I add one more thing too?
Please.
I love the fact, Ashi, that you invest in your associates as well, that you want to bring them along with you so that they're well equipped to take care of patients and grow and flourish in the practice, and that they understand that they're part of a healthy culture. So I love that you invest in them.
I think it's just as important as any other member of the team, including myself. I want to keep growing myself. I want them to feel challenged and them to grow in ways that they're not used to growing. So I wouldn't think of it in any other way. They really enjoy all the TOPS events and the Crown Council.
Very cool. Thank you for that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your great example.
Thanks for having me.
We got everybody else waiting for us to get started for the afternoon. So we're going to go back to work. For all of those that are listening, wish you were here. And you can make it up because we got a lot more of these coming up in the months ahead. So we consider this experience total immersion to be basic training and a must for every team in the Crown Council. So we invite you to come follow Dr. Patel's amazing example. And case acceptance and patient service is a key part of a culture of success, and it takes the entire team to make it work.
Absolutely.
Bring it on. Thanks, Stu. Cool. Good to be with you.
No, thank you guys. Grateful to connect with you.
Great to see you.
Hey, bye-bye.
Didn't somebody say duplicate genius instead of create mediocrity? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, what a wise thing. Hey, can I share my screen real quick? I wanted to jump over to the Total Patient Service website. I want to just show the dates and locations for the next couple total immersions. Okay, so here's the totalpatientservice.com website. Under seminars, we're going to go to Total Immersion. And as Steve was saying, there's a lot more opportunities ahead for dates and places. One thing too I wanted to draw attention to is there's actually an online Zoom total immersion coming up. It's just one day on November 19th. November 15th. For $395. So if you've got new team members that have just joined the team and you can't quite get them to some of these total immersions, online is a great solution. I wouldn't say it's as good. You're not connecting with the community, but still some really good options here for you to go to total immersion and teach your team some of these service skills. I love that when he said that they've switched from treatment to patients. What a fun thing to do as a team. So totalpatientservice.com under total immersion.
Hey, do you want to see something fun there, Stu?
Sure.
Go to crowncouncil.com.
Okay.
This is brand new. This is a new thing. Okay, and then go up and log out. You need to log out. Okay, now go to log in.
Okay.
And there is now a drop-down menu on login. Go back to login. There should be a drop-down menu there that says log in to Crown Council or log in to.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
There you go.
Tops
Or
login.
you can click on that and it'll take you right to it. That's it. That's my thing. You can hit seminars and it'll go to that.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
we've got another live guest joining us today. Super excited for Alan to join us. So if Alan's still in the waiting room, let's bring him in. I hope he's ready. We're a little early to bring him in, so hopefully he's standing by. If he's not ready, that's okay. Why don't we
there he is.
Why don't we just have Greg introduce Alan, introduce a little bit about how we connected and why Alan is a resource partner. Hey, Alan, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing great.
Hey, good. Hey, we're live. Greg's just going to give a short introduction to how we connected.
Great.
Alan is the result of 1 year of research. So all of the Crown Council who have been around for a while know of our great history and love for our friend Barbara Freet, who was kind of our HR go-to for many years. And there aren't a lot of people in this space, and there are less qualified people in this space. And so we went on the hunt for the very.
Oh, Gregor, we lost your audio. We lost your audio. Nope, can't hear you. What's he doing in there, Alan?
I don't know. Maybe he's messing with us.
Well, I can hear you and you can hear me, but we can't hear him. So he's definitely the problem child.
Is that a running theme at Crown Council that Greg's the problem child?
How about
No.
now? Can we hear me now?
We can hear you now. Greg, are you the problem?
Okay.
Are you the problem child?
I am the problem child.
No, you're
Okay,
not.
did you how much of that did you hear?
Just the beginning there.
Yeah, up
Just
until we
okay, let me start over real quick. We have enjoyed a long relationship with our friend Barbara Freet. And when Barbara decided to retire and the company that acquired her decided that they were taking their business in a different way, we went on a hunt to try and find somebody that met a very specific criteria of needs that Crown Council members had. And the two most important things are that they were highly qualified in every state, and that not only did they know their stuff, but that they were willing to designate somebody on their team that would take care of the Crown Council members and knew who they were. And interestingly enough, we had two of our Crown Council members that were doing business with Alan and his company, and they recommended him. We've had a great couple of months getting acquainted with Alan and his Band Erickson team. And they not only meet both of those criteria, they have over excelled. They are Barbara Friet on steroids.
Whoa.
And are a great fit to the membership. And we're going to take this opportunity today to introduce Alan and his team to the Crown Council. And I think before we're over, give you an opportunity to see how best to interrelate with Alan. One thing I would like to say about what Alan does and human resources in general is the best time to get acquainted with Alan and his group is before you have a problem. Because one of the things we all know is we're all going to have it. And if Alan already knows who you are and you're already got your office manual all squared away, that putting out the fires and solving the problems is going to be a whole lot easier. That's my admonition from 30 years of watching dentists and human resource problems.
Nice.
Challenges.
Challenge. Ooh, good word.
Challenges.
Nice. Thanks, Gregor. Alan, welcome. Will you just give us a little history background of your own, maybe your own profession and what you've built and how you've gotten to where you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So I stand on the shoulders of a bunch of others that came before me, and we are HR nerds over here. That is what we do. And so our company was founded about 45 years ago by a gentleman named Bent Erickson. And he got into the business kind of by accident, just helping dentist friends with their HR, and grew it into a nationwide business. My father has been the owner for about 22 years now. And I'm now a joint owner as well. And, you know, this world of HR, especially in dental, it's a challenge. There's a whole bunch of different parts and pieces to it. There's rules and laws. There's dealing with just human beings and human nature. There's obviously all the current, staffing challenges since COVID. And it's a big mix, and there's a lot of complexity to it. And what we do is we help to kind of sift through the confusion there and make it something that is doable and approachable and allow everyone to focus on what they want to focus on while still being compliant and taking care of their team. So yeah, this is all we do. It's HR for us all day, every day. And we've got a team of people here that are passionate about that. And they've got a lot of experience, which we can talk about in a little bit. But yeah, it's just what we do, and we're happy about it.
Maybe you two could both talk about this, but why I felt like this was a constant challenge for Greg and the whole Crown Council team to find a service that fit. What makes, Alan, our relationship work? Why are you the fit for Crown Council and being a resource partner here?
Well, I'll go first, and Greg, you can chime in if you want. I mean, so first and foremost, we see ourselves as a service company. There a lot of stuff in the HR world these days is all about technology and apps and websites and tools, and there's absolutely a place for those things. We utilize technology in our company as well. But we very much see ourselves as a service company. We really like to develop close relationships with our clients, be a trusted partner, a trusted resource, and really be there for them when they need us and when they need help. We also recognize that HR is not everyone's favorite topic. People are here to do great dentistry. They're not here to manage people all day, every day, or deal with paperwork or any of that stuff. So we try to make it as simple and easy as possible. And I think with Crown Council, I know you guys are very service minded, and I think that is the biggest area of crossover that we have. And so we're super excited to be a part of it. We'd known Barbara Friet for a long time and the Crown Council folks. So it's a really great fit for us. Match made in heaven, I think.
Nice.
I'll chime in here, Stu.
Okay, yeah.
Alan, if I say anything wrong here, you correct me. But one of the things that I really liked about Bent Erickson as a group is they are willing to meet our Crown Council membership where they are. If you've got, if you already have an office manual that you like and it's working, they have a system where they can review that and meet you there. If you don't, they have a system where they can create it for you and meet you there. If you have, I call this fire hose HR. If you have a challenge, a specific challenge, they are also willing to help with a specific challenge of a specific team member that needs some help, and you need help today. And they've got a great, very well priced, I guess we'd call it, Alan, a consulting arrangement, which is call us anytime, we will help you. They also have a system where that's not required, but they have a great method of getting started with them in a first year and then maintenance thereafter. But like I said, I think the thing I like most is they don't have only one path that you follow to interact with them. They'll meet you at whatever your current HR standing is and help you get it where it needs to be so that you're run properly.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. So one of our senior HR specialists, Rebecca Bortfield, is sort of the Crown Council designated HR specialist. And Rebecca has been with Ben Erickson Associates, I think, going on 16 years. And prior to that, she was in HR and management for a whole bunch of years before that. And Rebecca's doing a call, I think today or tomorrow, with one of the Crown Council members who has something going on and needs some advice. And we are happy to do a complimentary HR specialist call with Crown Council members that are in kind of one of those unfortunate times that we sometimes find ourselves in when you're facing something and you don't quite know how to handle it. And you need an answer right away, and you don't have time to jump through a whole bunch of hoops and figure out a whole bunch of things and write a whole handbook. And, you kind of need help right away when you need it. And so that's one of the roles that Rebecca fills here is helping folks put out those fires when they come up.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know, Alan, you've been out speaking and you present to different groups. And one thing we've learned on this Crown Council live stream is that building trust with our resource partner comes when they learn from you, they're educated by you. Is there, as we prepared for the live stream, I thought it'd be interesting for you to share some of the biggest HR challenges that you're seeing or that doctors are facing today, and then your advice when you go out and speak on, like, what are you sharing today that's very relevant with practices about your topic, about your company, and about what they should be doing to be safe and prepared?
Sure. Well, the number one issue right now, hands down, all around the country, is staffing and finding people, especially finding good people that are qualified with the right certifications and experience, great attitude, and so on. And obviously with the pandemic, there were a lot of people who retired. There were hygiene schools that were shut down for a period of time. Whole bunches of people decided to retire as a result of the pandemic, in addition to the normal demographics that are going on with baby boomers retiring and so on. And in terms of staffing and finding people, I wish I had a perfect magical solution. I don't. I think the recommendation there is just try absolutely everything that you can and see what works. And really, it's also about being open to trying new things, new avenues for recruiting that you may have never tried before, or potentially revisiting old things that you tried maybe 5 or 10 years ago that didn't work. Those may work now. So I think it's one of these kind of spaghetti on the wall things. It's Dental Post, it's temporary, these temp sites like TempMe, or I think now it's Got You, and so on, where it's temp sites, but there's also options for permanent hiring, local job boards, going to the local high schools. That's kind of playing a long game in terms of recruiting, partnering with any sort of hygiene schools or dental schools in the area. Certainly consider hiring somebody that's outside of dental and doesn't have dental experience and training them, depending on the position, state rules, et cetera. uh, getting multiple part-time people to fill a role that maybe historically has been one full-time person. And one of the biggest recommendations I would encourage people in the hiring process, and this is true of overall HR, is think about what we call your UEP, your unique employment proposition. Everyone, I'm sure, with their marketing companies has worked on their USP, their unique selling proposition. Why should a patient choose your practice versus the one down the street? And it's really important in today's labor market that you think about that from the employee standpoint. Why should a really awesome, high quality, great attitude, great experience person, why should they work at your practice versus the one down the street? And if you imagine sitting down in an interview with someone face to face, you should be able to articulate that somehow. And again, just like you do on the patient side, you should be able to explain to someone what makes your office special and unique and why someone should choose to work for you. So if you haven't done something like that, highly encourage you to do it. It's obviously about way more than just wages and benefits. It's about culture. It's about appreciation and so on. And one of the ways I sometimes frame all of this is the hiring side of the practice is bad. It's really not expected to get better anytime soon. The projections from the ADA and the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics are not great. We'll see more and more retirement of hygienists and dental assistants, as well as dentists. And until or unless we can figure out how to get enough faculty in those schools, we're going to continue to see a shortage. So what that also means is that retaining your current team is absolutely critical, because if you can retain your team and prevent turnover, then you don't have to go out as much into this crazy hiring market and try to find someone. So how do you retain the people? It's also this idea of your unique employment proposition. It's pay and benefits. And the pay and benefits thing, just as a little tangent on that, it's about being competitive. You don't have to be the absolute highest in the market. I think a lot of people kind of think, well, if any practice down the road is offering 10 cents more an hour, then I'm going to lose. It's not about being the absolute highest. You just need to be competitive and reasonable. And one of our number one recommendations for retention is a book called The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. And it's a companion book to a concept a lot of people have heard of, the 5 love languages. This is that same sort of idea applied to the workplace. We don't have any financial interest in the book, but it's perfect for the dental world because the concepts are super intuitive, very easy to implement. And I highly recommend getting that book and just kind of starting with little steps and implementing those over time. Building a really great place to work is not something that you're going to achieve overnight. But with these little steps around appreciation and investing in your team, investing in CE, et cetera, what you'll find is you'll build a really nice system of retention, and that'll avoid having to go out into this crazy hiring market. So that's kind of a long answer to this idea of kind of the number one problem, I think, which is staffing, and just recognizing that there's a whole lot of turnover that is preventable. And so that's really what we try to focus on, is how do we prevent that turnover?
What great advice. I'd never heard UEP. So it's so good. Dude, that is really fun. Remind me the name of the book, 5 Languages. What was it?
It's the 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace.
Okay.
And when you buy the book, you also get a access code for a little assessment thing that they have. And that's where you can take this assessment, and everyone on the team can actually take it, and it'll identify your primary and secondary languages. Because of course, everyone's a little different. Some people like to receive words of affirmation. For other people, it's quality time. Other people, it's gifts. And so the book just lays out how all of that works and some really great ideas for how to implement it. So it's way cool. And if folks want more info or recommendations, I'm happy to share it. I'll tell you one quick story. We were at an event at the University of Washington Dental School earlier this year, and there was a dentist in the audience who said that one of his appreciation things with his team is he buys everyone Starbucks coffee every single day. So with his team and, you know, the cost of lattes and everything at Starbucks,
Right.
he is spending about $100 a week on coffee.
Wow.
And, you know, times 50 weeks in a year or so, it's about
Right.
$5,000 per year. Now, of course, some people look at that and they go, oh my God, $5,000, that's crazy.
Hmm.
But we asked him, well, do you feel like you're getting an ROI on that $5,000? And he said, without question, that he feels like he is getting millions of dollars in return because he has a happy team, higher productivity, happy patients, and all the benefits that come along with that. So for him, $5,000 drop in the bucket for what he gets in return for that.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Greg, have you heard anybody do something like that?
No, I did, however, put a link, an Amazon link, in the chat for the book. If anybody wants it, I have just ordered me a copy.
Man,
Oh,
I want
great.
to get this author to come to the annual event, be on the live stream, do a mentor of the month. This is cool. That's a really, really good idea. And I
Yeah.
love this idea that as you invest more, you retain them more so you don't have to go out to the wacky market. So
Yeah.
smart. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, exactly.
When you are talking to a dental office and doing what Greg just said, which is preparing them so they don't have to call you in the emergency, is there like a list of top 5s or top 3s of must-haves? Like, hey, you're not doing anything. Here is where you need to start, at least to get your base or ground level going. Is there a place that you recommend?
Yeah, so I would say in our minds, there are 5 things that are kind of the bare minimum that we want to see. And these are 5 things for both compliance and also for just everyday HR and management. And the first one is some sort of policy manual or employee handbook. You know, it's 2024. Every single practice, no matter where you are, no matter how many employees you have, every practice has got to have a policy manual. And when I say a policy manual, I mean a real policy manual, something
Right.
that's, you know, good and comprehensive and up to date, not something that's 5 pages long or something that was downloaded off the internet 10 years ago. This needs to be a real document. Good policy manuals will spell out the benefits that the practice offers and benefits in a crystal clear way where there's no chance for any misunderstandings. They also need to spell out the required policies, which are going to be unique for your practice, your state, your number of employees. HR rules vary massively from state to state. So it's really critical that that's not only unique to your state number of employees, but that it's also up to date. And then the manual also needs to spell out all of your management policies, you know, all of your expectations around appearance, uniform, smoking, cell phone usage. All of that needs to be crystal clear so that there's just no misunderstandings. Misunderstandings are one of the leading causes of turnover, especially in the first year of employment, because in that first year, we haven't built up a big bank of trust and positivity yet. The relationship is still really new. And any kind of misunderstandings about, oh, well, I thought I got, you know, dental benefits right away, and you're telling me I have to wait 90 days, or all of those kinds of things are just really detrimental. So that's number 1, having a good, solid policy manual. Number 2 is job descriptions. And I think job descriptions are kind of an unsung hero in HR, and they don't get the attention that they deserve. When we talk about job descriptions, they really are kind of like the recipe for success. They allow you to streamline the hiring and onboarding process. They allow you to do performance reviews really easily. And they also kind of reiterate this idea of what's in the policy manual about expectations and avoiding misunderstandings. Now, it is important that your job descriptions meet the Americans with Disability Act requirements. And the biggest thing there is that they have a section on physical requirements. Those physical requirements are important because more and more states are passing disability protections. And these are protections that protect employees when they are disabled, which can include pregnancy. It can also include other types of both mental and physical disabilities. And one of the key steps in that whole process is that the job description goes to the employee's treating physician, and the treating physician is the one that's determining potential accommodation. So job descriptions are really important. If you don't have those in place, that's another key thing to have. And then number 3 is just good old-fashioned HR documentation. And that's about protecting the practice and this idea of, you know, if it's not written down, it didn't happen. It's also about avoiding some of those same misunderstandings that the policy manual is all about. And this idea of, you know, misunderstandings about pay, about benefits, around full-time, part-time, around pay for a CE event, all of those different documents. You know, if you got hired at, let's say, Microsoft, and you worked in the Microsoft HR department for 40 years, over the course of that time, you would utilize about 80 to 90 personnel forms over that time, because inevitably someone will get pregnant or someone has a such and such condition. And of course, there's all the hiring and there's the termination related stuff. And so there are about 80 to 85 forms that a dental practice may utilize over the course of a career. There may be a bunch of those forms that you don't utilize all the time, but certainly the hiring forms, the resignation and termination forms, those get used quite a bit. And then number 4 is some sort of mechanism for staying up to date. Because what we're seeing is a trend at the state and federal level for more rules and changes to existing rules. So one of the things we do is we track and monitor state and federal labor changes. And from the period of 2014 through 2018, we sent out 74 policy updates nationwide. And these were either new rules or these were significant changes to existing rules. And then in the period from 2019 to 2023, it was 280. So a 4-fold increase. And so far for this year, 2024, we're on pace to kind of keep that trend going. So it's one of these classic things of, you can't just write a policy manual, put it on the shelf and let it collect dust. These things are changing. And these are significant rules. These are things like pregnancy disability accommodations, paid sick leave, paid family leave. You know, these are big, meaningful changes. So it's really important that every practice has some kind of mechanism for staying up to date. And when that happens, you got to update your policy manual with new language and so on. And then the last thing is something that we've already kind of touched on, and it's this idea of having somebody that you can call when stuff comes up. And at our company, we call them HR specialists. They have a kind of a dual background of sort of book smarts and street smarts. So the book smarts is knowing all the compliance and all the different rules of all 50 states and this idea of employee threshold and what you can and can't do and all of that. But then there's also the street smart side of things. So all of our HR specialists were HR managers in their previous lives. So they know what it's like to hire and fire and sit down with an employee and have these difficult conversations, what to say, what not to say. Because in HR, it's not enough to just know what the law says and what you can and can't do. There's also this thing of what you should do. Or if you take this course of action, what are some possible consequences versus taking a different path? And we're big fans of not having barriers to calling, because if you're getting billed by the hour or some other kind of separate fee for that advice, in our experience, you don't tend to call because you kind of think, oh, well, I got to pay money for that, so I'll just wing it or I'll Google it or something. So with us, we just roll that time in. It's unlimited. There's no extra fee for it. There's no separate charge. And it's also really important that you get answers quickly with that. You know, if you're really dealing with something on fire, like, you know, an employee who shows up to work intoxicated, or maybe 2 employees get in a physical altercation, or if you suspect that someone is, you know, smoking marijuana in the employee bathroom, you know, these are things that you need an answer right away. You don't have time to wait a week to get a response. And so we absolutely focus on that. We really try to get back to people within 24 hours or less. And certainly if it's something really urgent, like what I mentioned, then we move things around to get people taken care of as soon as possible. So those 5 things of policy manual, job descriptions, forms, updates, and HR specialists, we consider that to just be the bare minimum. So over time, as you hire, as you fire, as you have just all the employee life circumstances that come up, those 5 things will come into play quite a bit. So that's why we consider that to be kind of the bare minimum.
Great top 5. And I wish that, well, maybe offline, I want to hear about team members smoking in the bathroom, a fight, because I know that you've probably
Those were
dealt
all
with those
real
in the
world
last
experiences.
month.
You know those were
I
real.
want those stories.
You didn't just pick those out of the air.
No, yeah, well, that came up, I think, a week or 2 ago. Someone was like, I know that she's smoking, in the bathroom. But I don't have a camera because you can't put a camera in the bathroom. So but I know she's doing it. And so we were working with a client on how to address that.
I love it. That was so good. Alan, I am so grateful to share you with the Crown Council membership. This is you're an incredible resource, and I'm excited for our new this new journey we're going to be on. Although sometimes when these emails come across the network requesting help from you, I'm like, I'm glad this is you that is taking care of everyone. Your expertise and the things that you've seen are just are the best to share. So thank you. Anything, did we miss anything before we wrap? I mean, this has been a great introduction, and it'll be really fun to share this little video with the membership. Anything else we want to say as we wrap up?
Stu, I realize that we don't do this often, but I wonder if Alan would explain in a little more detail what I talked about before, which is let's talk about the best front door. So Alan, let me give you 2 examples. Here is somebody who doesn't have a good office manual, who is kind of ignored HR, would like to get their house in order, and they call you up and they say, Alan, I'd really like to get my house in order, and I'd like to be able to call you anytime during the next year and be able to talk to you about my human resource problems or challenges. Explain to me how that works.
Yeah,
And what
so
costs.
in that scenario, what we would probably recommend if someone doesn't already have a whole bunch of things in place is we have something that we call the HR Director Package, and it has those 5 things that I mentioned, plus some other things. And that package is where one of our onboarding specialists will set up a new policy manual for the practice, and they'll customize it for the state, number of employees, policies, benefits, et cetera. We'll provide all of the job descriptions, and we have those set for different specialties, ortho, GP, and so on. And then basically from that point on for the next year, folks have access to our HR specialists. They'll get ongoing updates. We're gearing up for a whole bunch of compliance updates here in the next month or so, just because typically a lot of things change at the end of the year. But yeah, someone would just order that HR Director Package, and we just do it 1 year at a time. There's no long-term contracts. And so we get everything set up and take care of folks for a year. And if they're happy, they can continue. And our pricing and everything it's all on our website, but we vary it a little bit based on number of employees. And if someone has multiple practice locations where the locations are managed differently, so different benefits, different policies, and so on, then we can talk about setting up multiple policy manuals. But if someone has multiple locations and they're all run exactly the same, then we can just run that all under one policy manual and keep it simple. So that would be kind of the path if someone doesn't have anything in place. And then let's say somebody does have a policy manual in place and they feel like it's pretty good, pretty solid. Maybe it's a little bit old or maybe hasn't been updated in a bit. So we do have a service that we call the policy manual review. And that's where someone would send that to us and we would give it to one of our HR specialists and they would read through it cover to cover all the way through. And what they
Oh,
Alan.
Alan, you paused. Uh-oh. He's paused. Man, we got a host of technical difficulties here.
Alan, Alan,
Did you ever find out why your microphone stopped working? What'd you do?
I adjust my microphone and at the bottom of it, there's a mute button. It got pushed in by my keyboard.
I'm just sending him a quick
I'm sending him a text.
Maybe he's got Wi-Fi issues. I'm gonna jump over to Alan's website real quick while we wait for him to come back. Oh, we lost him.
He lost his feed.
Okay, well, let's see if DJ lets him in. Okay, so this is Alan's website, Bent Erickson and Associates. And not only this, but they're on the Crown Council website, and we're going to send out a lot of updates with his information, his name. But this is a great place to start, especially this resource library. A lot of great stuff, the liability quiz. He's got a lot of fun articles and publications, which I went through, a risk analysis, as well as a podcast. I mean, this is an incredible resource partner, which we are so grateful to connect with. When Alan starts to share, and I said this to Greg, can you imagine the things that he has seen and been through that you have not, that our client, Crown Council members have not seen or been through, which he can help you with? I mean, the types of things that he's able to navigate through and walk through for Crown Council members is just an incredible resource to the membership. So,
Hey, I'll tell you one other thing, Stu, that's
Yeah.
really cool that they do. Let's say I have a dental practice in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
They have an automated system where they read everything that is published or new in the HR world.
Right.
And if they find something that is specific to Kansas, they automatically send it to you.
Yeah.
It's not like an automated system.
Can you imagine being in California, what that would be like?
No, it'd be huge.
Hey,
Well, I mean,
Alan.
Hi, guys.
Alan, hey, you're the problem child.
I am the problem child. I don't know what happened, but my computer just completely died and I lost power to the
Oh,
whole system. So I'm on my laptop now, and so yeah, sorry about that.
All good.
Maybe we had a
I mean, at
lightning
least you
strike.
weren't muted. I mean,
Yeah,
just saying.
we just jumped over to your website to share some of the awesome resources here. We kind of lost you. Man, we
We
lost.
were talking about somebody
your
who had an
packages.
existing manual
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you read all the way through it, and then
Yeah. And then so then what we would do is we'll give you a really detailed report of everything that's working and everything that's not working in the manual. So it's a really nice, thorough review of just how you're doing. We'll identify policies that are out of compliance. We'll identify anything that's missing, and just give you a real nice multi-page detailed report of how it's doing. And so from there, then, some offices will take that info and they'll work to correct it themselves. Sometimes people will get that and they'll go, oh boy, this is way, way worse than I thought it was, and then they'll decide to do the HR director package or they'll do something else. So a couple options there. And then a third option I'll say too is we do have a few people who have everything really, really solidly in place, but they just need some additional expertise when something really heavy comes up. And if that's the case, then what they'll do is they'll reach out to us and they'll do, in a sense, a one-time HR specialist call. So maybe they'll set up something with Rebecca or another HR specialist, talk about the issue. And these are usually things that are really heavy. It's not just a basic HR thing. It's like something big and major that they've never seen before. And if that's the case, then we just do a billable rate for those calls, just kind of on an ongoing basis. So again, bunch of different options. I would say that the HR director package is the main thing that most of our folks do, just because it's so comprehensive and so easy, and it's just really affordable. And compared to a lot of other options out there, like working with a lawyer or hiring an actual HR person on staff to just do the HR, working with us is usually quite a bit more cost effective.
like I said, the reason I had you go through that, Alan, is I can't emphasize enough how important it is that there is only one front door, that you and your people are willing to meet our membership where they are in the HR process. And in fact, you're willing to take a phone call without charging them and kind of run through where they are and help them decide what the best front door is. And that's something for which we're very grateful. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I would just say, if somebody out there just wants to kind of learn more about all of this and chat, through kind of maybe what they're dealing with, see if it's a good fit, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Happy to chat with folks directly. And then if someone out there does have an HR situation that they want to chat about, maybe you've got kind of a toxic employee or an employee that's not really working out, you think it might be headed in a termination direction, or maybe somebody's pregnant, you've never dealt with that before, just anything like that, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll set you up with Rebecca and go from there.
Nice, Alan. This is awesome. Okay, we'll have you on next week. Another item 6 through 10. Very good. No, I really do think we should do a more formal webinar for the membership. I think it'd be awesome to at least from my vantage point, from where Greg and I sit, this is a huge part about not only, we just had Steve on to talk about changing a shift from changing from treatment needs to real patient needs. And I think what you're talking about is the way to drive our practices to be relationship driven. So many awesome things that you can share. So thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Thanks for your time, Alan. We appreciate you.
All right. Well, thanks,
Hey, man.
guys. Appreciate
Thank
you as
you.
well. Have a great week.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Maybe
That
we
gets-
should go check the restrooms.
Man, that gets me like excited. I don't know why. It's just like a cool, I think it's just a cool thing. It's just a fun, interesting topic that every practice works and deals with. So anyway, okay. All right. Hey, we've got about 14 minutes left. We're going to, I'm going to share my screen real quick. This is, so Greg and I are a full push to get every Crown Council office signed up to attend the annual event.
Absolutely.
We hope every practice, A, feels invited, B, feels like it's a very important part of your Crown Council membership to be at the annual gathering. We often talk about what are the two main aspects of belonging to the Crown Council. Well, one is education, training, being together, learning, being smart. But the second is community, connecting with the people that will make you better. And that happens at the annual event, our annual gathering, where we bring together the Crown Council membership. So one thing that we did this week, we signed our fourth and final presenter or speaker who is going to be on the main stage. And this is a little mailer we put together that's going out to the membership, but Justin Wren is his name. And he's going to be talking about, you can go to his website or his book to learn about what he talks about, but Rachel, who recommended him, has connected with Justin in a way where it's not only an incredible humanitarian and leadership perspective that he is going to share, but also his journey. This is an incredible journey that this person has had. And that is what we love to hear from some of these annual event presenters is what have they learned along their journey that is applicable to our dental teams that they can go home and share with patients, share with families. As this little paragraph says, he's a 3-time survivor of malaria. He's also a UFC fighter. So it says he's fought opponents both large and small throughout his life. And has come out as an astonishing force for good in the world. And this is his book, Fight for the Forgotten. He is deeply involved in humanitarian work in Africa, and he'll tell that story as well as other leadership things that he has learned. And I think, Greg, you can interject here, but more than anything, we are just excited to hear Justin's story of who he is and what he's learned throughout his life. So super, super grateful he's going to be. When is he our fourth speaker? Saturday afternoon? Do we know yet?
He is. He's the closer. And in our office, we call it the therefore what, I
Mm.
mean, that the thing we are most interested in is not just how he got where he is, but how I can take those principles in my own life and make those things active.
Yeah.
And he has a marvelous way of making his own story active in everybody else's life that he is talking to. I mean, this is what he did. It's not what we ought to all go do, but there is a great path to feel good about where your life is and what more you could do to help other people,
Very cool.
for sure.
We are excited. We are, full gas planning the annual event and preparing. We're getting all of our resources members in place, and booking the games, the adventures, we're not doing lunch and learns this year. So we're doing something totally new, something fun for teams during lunch. Not that lunch and learns weren't fun, but it's been 5 or 6 years where we've just done lunch and learns at lunch. We're doing something new, something different. That we hope will benefit your team as you
And
come up with
prizes
something new.
galore.
Oh man, prizes! So get ready for
Prizes galore. And
Very cool.
I would say that the most interesting thing that has happened, and we mentioned this last week or the week before, is the stir among the Crown Council members on Ken and Barbie night.
Ken and Barbie, yeah, we're gonna have a Ken and Barbie
There
party.
are people who are investing highly in how their costumes are going to be coordinated in the practice.
4 months in advance.
4 months in advance. We had no idea.
Very fun.
No idea.
All righty, Gregor. Hey, we're gonna stop 9 minutes early. Thankful for Alan, thankful for Steve, and grateful that everybody joined us today on the live stream. Next week, the month of October, we've got a lot of really fun things showing up. We've got Steve just sent to me his webinar that we're going to do. Are you crazy? I can't afford that is the name. Secrets of Overcoming Scary Financial Objections from Your Patients. So we're going to do that actually on Halloween. And then a few more shows in between.
You're going to do it Halloween day, right?
Halloween day, yeah. So anyway.
One of the other things, Stu, that I wanted to do is, in addition to a copy of that book that I put in the chat, I've also put Ben Erickson's website so that that information is available.
Cool. All righty, everybody. Thanks so much. Join in Crown Council live stream, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks.